Hi there, welcome to Don's Workshop. This is part 7 of my Lamborghini Countach build. Last time, got the engine on there, looking pretty good, and now we're going to continue. Got everything sorted here, so let's continue, and I'm going to talk more about where I think like AI fits within like the workforce, like what work is AI actually going to be useful for doing. And one of the things that a lot of people who are like talking about like it's going to replace everybody's job. So for the people who are like at workplaces where it's like, how is AI, you don't really know how AI is going to help you. You're like concerned it's gonna like, how is it gonna replace my job, or it can't replace your job, or whatever side of this you might be on. The main thing I think is that it is helpful. A lot of cases the AI tools are helpful for doing things. They can, and the things they're helpful at is, I think, is helping overcome technical debt. The issue at a lot of places is that they don't have resources to fix some of their issues. They don't have resources that they can go in and just automate tools and fix problems that they have easily with their systems. But what AI can do is it can just ignore the problems. It doesn't have to fix the problem. So what AI can do is it doesn't have to fix the problem. What you can use AI to do is just do the extra work. So where there's some extra process that you have to do to fix some report or something like this. This is always something that is at every workplace. They'll have some report and somebody's manually fixing something on that report before it gets sent off to some manager. It's just a thing they have to do every single day, or every time this report is run, they have to fix it a certain way and run a bunch of things. Well, guess what? You can use an AI tool, just say, do this for me, create a prompt that tells it to do the same thing, and instead of creating the automation that just doesn't create the problem in the first place with the report, making the report proper, you don't need all the resources to do that. You can just have them use Copilot, for example, or ChatGPT. You just say, remove this information from the report, or reformat this information, and there you go. There's a bunch of tedious work taken out of a workflow, and that person's job is now significantly reduced because that thing that they were doing has now been simplified. They're not having to do all the tedious work anymore. The AI is doing it. But they didn't fix the problem. The problem is that the report was not in a good format in the first place. So that problem still exists, and you still have to have someone probably run the prompt. If you get to a point where you're having to build an automation to run the prompt, now you've kind of lost the plot. The issue is that the report needs to be fixed. So now you're going to have these situations where AI is going to help. There's going to be processes put in place in some places to fix. Wait a second. Yeah, there'll be processes put in place in some places to use AI tools to fix problems within their process and not fix the actual process. So you'll get this, their technical debt is now shifted. They haven't got rid of the technical debt. They've been able to use AI to cover it up. And the idea would be you could use AI to cover it up until you have time to properly fix it. But as most people know who work in these places, that will not happen. They will not do that. They will just simply use it, and someday the person who is running it will leave, and now it's an emergency, right? As much as you might think like AI is going to take everyone's jobs, there's going to be no jobs, I think it's going to actually end up creating a lot more jobs for fixing things properly, because you can't just keep layering stuff on. There'll be places who will, and there will be places that will decide that they actually need to change the actual process they're working from. Because the more you start using the AI tools to do things, the more you realize, oh, now you have to actually use things the right way. Because yeah, you can just layer it on top like that with a prompt that fixes something that you never wanted to fix for some report you don't want to fix. But eventually, like, now you actually are using some data out of there, and you're like, oh, now I want this other report. Now you need some better data so that you can use data and analyst tools, AI-powered data analyst tools, and you can't really do that because your actual data is not been fixed. You're just covering it up with a prompt, right? So now you actually have to really go back and do the things the right way. How often will that happen? That's the thing. That's what we don't really know yet. We don't really know how many companies are going to suffer from these problems. It's going to happen. There's going to be this quick adoption in some places. You already see the overzealousness in some cases. Like we're just going to have AI agents do all this stuff, and then it's like, no, they're giving out free cars and stuff like that. Like that's where it's just too early to be like just replacing everything you do. You can get it to do some things to some extent, but at some point you're going to have to look at your processes, and that is going to be a lot of jobs for a lot of people to do that kind of an analysis. And I don't know how long that will go on for. Will that be a short period of time? Will it be a long period? Is it going to be dependent on, how long the AI slop is put into systems to negatively affect their ability to clean up their data? Like, if you do some of this stuff at the wrong time right now, you could end up with something that's really difficult to fix later on if you do it the wrong way. So there are places that are being, are all gung-ho and just putting this stuff through. And there are places that are being too cautious. They're not using the tools at all. They're not giving them learning how they work and making so that they can make good decisions in the future. Like, to me, that's the main thing you want to be doing. You want to be using these AI tools to learn how they work so that you have an idea of how best to use them. It's always good to learn how stuff works. And the more you learn about it, the more you'll see that they are not going to take all the jobs. They just can't. It's just, even like, I guess recently Klarna were trying to replace all their people with AI. So they fired a whole bunch of people. Now they're hiring people back because, oh, we need people to do stuff. Yeah, no surprise there, really. You need people to do stuff. You need people to make sure things are correct. You need people who know processes, who are able to properly define these things within agents and tool chains that you are building out with these AI tools, for the AI tools to be so that they're effective. If you have bad data and you don't have people making sure that the data that is in there is good, it is not going to be a good time. And there's companies finding that out quickly because they have been a little too overzealous with their AI optimism. It's pretty optimistic to think that AI can really take a lot of jobs. I don't think that's going to take all these jobs, but there's a lot of stuff that has to happen in the meantime for that to happen. And that meantime is where other people are going to be, there's going to be more jobs to even get to that point. And you get this transition, right? Just like there's always been transitions during different periods of history. One of the other things that'll happen, especially I think with small businesses, is that AI will help level the field for some of them. Like there are some businesses, they don't have enough people to do certain things. So using an AI tool to kind of fill in like maybe some finance responsibilities, or like I said, with reporting is a big thing in a lot of places that is time consuming, and like small businesses not having to have time for that. Things like invoicing, all these kind of things that have standard rules around them that you have to follow, that you could use some AI tools to follow those rules and save some time. And that will help some small businesses like kind of just bring up their level. As well as their knowledge, the AI can provide them answers to things that normally they wouldn't have answers to. And they're better answers than what they would get if they were just trying to look it up themselves, right? It's already in the AI. They can ask a question. The AI can give a better answer than if they just started fishing around Google and trying to find something that they think is right. So I think it's kind of a level setter. It brings the bar up. It also allows businesses that are just starting, they can jump right into using some of the AI tools to catch up real quick, right? This is coming to I was at a conference a few years ago where someone said like, oh, they at some point, next 10 years maybe, there's going to be a business ran by a single person that is going to make $1 billion. Like this individual person will be able to run an entire business, $1 billion business, won't need other people. And they weren't even, at the time, they weren't really even talking about AI. They were just talking about all the advancements that were happening in all different areas of software and whatnot. So now with AI, I think that is definitely, I think that's possible. Like so. And that goes over here. Okay, so that's looking good. So, okay, so that's been a bit of more coverage about where I kind of think jobs and how AI is going to be used at workplaces a little bit more. And as well, I've finished off the roof section here, as well as these fenders, these rear fenders. So that is coming together quite nicely. Anyway, if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and take it easy.